no matter who you are and what you do, you're actually a content creator first. So the sooner you realize that you're a content creator and you start putting out content that showcases who you are, what you do, how you do it, the faster you start growing your brand, and the bigger your brand, bigger your bag. So that's what I'm gonna help you out with in this video. So stay tuned. Alrighty, live from Orlando, Florida vacation. Welcome back to Cracka TV. So first, let's start off with why. Why content creation? Today, everyone is on their phone consuming social media content. And if you are not popping up on their timelines, then they're not thinking about you. So out of sight, out of mind is bad for business, right? When you run into people and you ask them like, what's been up, what's new? And they're like, just staying out the way. That statement is only cool for people that work a 9 to 5. But if you are trying to pursue any type of like freelancer entrepreneurship, you need to do the complete opposite and do not stay out of the way. You need to stay in the way. You need to constantly keep popping up, when they get on Facebook, boom, there you are. They open up their YouTube homepage, boom, there you are again. They start scrolling through Instagram, boom, you pop up again. They're like, man, I can't stop seeing this dude. I need to check him out, him or her, right? So when I talk to different music artists and their goal is to, promote their music and have more people be aware of them, I always go back to, you need to be creating content, right? If you're not creating the content, people aren't going to hear your music. They're not going to know that you exist. When I talk to different brands, music video guys, photographers, DJs, producers, guys at my studio, I tell them, look, you guys, we're content creators first, and then we also do production or audio engineering, right? Because if we want more people to book us, we need to be creating more content. So the more content you create, the more you pop up, boom, people are thinking about you. They get to see who you are, how you do it, why you do it. They decide if they like you or not, and they want to do business with you. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And if people don't know you, they're not able to then move down the funnel and like you, and then move down the funnel even more and trust you. So it all starts with the very top. People have to know you, and people will never know you if you're not creating content. So I hope that makes sense. Now let's talk about what. So you get it. You're like, all right, convince me. I need to be creating the content. I get why. Let's talk about what. So what you do, doesn't matter what it is. If you're taking pictures, you're a photographer. If you're shooting music videos, you're a videographer guy, putting out music artist, whatever, brand, business, what you do is part of who you are. So part of your content creation should showcase what you do. So maybe if someone was thinking about working with you, they're able to see what it's like to work with you before working with you. So a lot of people that have ended up booking me over the years, they found me and they watched my process and they're like, yo, this dude knows what he's doing. So I showcased, I knew what I was doing by creating the content showing what I was doing. So I think the easiest place to start with what is showcasing you do what you do. So when I go to the studio and I'm going to do a studio session, what I'm doing is providing the service, being an audio engineer in the studio. So the easiest content is just to showcase that process. You don't have to stop what you're doing and go out of your way to create the content like I am right now. I'm specifically sitting down to talk to the camera. This is a content creation versus content documenting. So with that, I would say to start with is just document. It's document what you do and how you do it. You don't need to hire a professional videographer at this point in time. You can just set your phone up somewhere, hit record, and then get some B-roll footage of you doing what you do. Move the phone somewhere else, set it down, hit record, get some footage of you doing what you do. If you guys are interested in me walking you through step by step how I do this by myself, how to create content by yourself, let me know in the comments. Just say content by yourself, right? And then if I see enough people wanting that, then I'll make that. So what you do? What do you talk about? Well, think about things that you're interested in. There is and will only ever be one of you. So you're one of a kind. The way that you see things is different than other people see things. The way that I see things is different than the way that you see things. So what I talk about and how I talk about it is going to be different than anyone else in the world. We could be talking about the same thing. This is not the only, how to be a content creator video on YouTube, but hopefully the way that I see it and the way that I talk about it and the way that I explain it, if this helps connect and makes sense to you, but then that's what makes my perspective different. Like we all have our own unique perspective. And so you're just sharing your perspective and your outlook on things that you do and what you're interested in with your audience. Let's talk a little bit about how to get started. First, one of the most common questions that people ask is like, how much content should I be making? And again, in a perfect world, you'd have millions of dollars and you would just outsource and hire all these people to constantly follow you around, and you would be posting, 10 times a day on all platforms. And like, that's in a perfect world. But I think the best frequency is what can you consistently do for a long period of time right here, right now. So I'm assuming that you're probably not in a position where you have millions of dollars. So you're probably a solopreneur, which is all good. So if right now you're going from one post a month, I would aim for one post a week. And then once you get used to doing that for a few weeks, now let's see if you can start doing 2 posts a week, and then slowly but surely start doing 3 posts a week. And then eventually it would be awesome if you can be creating, 1 piece of content every single day. When it comes to YouTube, YouTube, long form, I think that a good frequency is like at least one long form video a week. But then when it comes to like short form, whether it's just, an image post on social media, whether it's a carousel post of multiple images, whether it's a short form video like Reels or Shorts or TikToks, one piece of short form a day is great, at least 3 or 4, but don't set yourself up for failure. I've seen a lot of people where they're not creating any content or they've never created content. And then they have these goals of like, yeah, man, I'm just waiting until I pile up and then I'm ready. And they end up just never being ready because they're trying to commit to like the impossible, to go from like no content at all, nothing, to posting 3, 4, 5 times a day on all platforms. And it's like, even if they were able to do that, like they might do it for a week and then they just get completely burnt out. It's like, bro, I would have rather had you take those 3 pieces of content a day for a week, which was 21, and space that out over like a month. So now you have a month of content. You don't burn out. It becomes easier to like maintain because consistency is the thing that's going to really help you get to the next level in content creation. A lot of people, they get some momentum and then they fall off face of this earth and then all that momentum dies back down. And then like a year later, they're like, you know what? I'm about to get on my shit again. Here we go. I'm gonna pursue it again. And then they start doing well for maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then they fall off. All the momentum dies down. They start that cycle over and over again every few years. So I don't want that to be you. So commit to something that you can do long-term consistently. I think that one of the best tips I can give you with social media is I think to win on social media now, it's basically just showing up. Because if you don't show up, people aren't seeing you, not thinking about you, so they're damn sure not spending their money with you. One of the biggest traps that I see people fall into, myself included, with social media is overthinking, and then you get stuck in analysis paralysis, and you end up just not putting out any content, and then just think in terms of opposite, right? If you had a guarantee that you're not gonna grow your following, you're not gonna make any more money, what would you do? You would just not post at all. So then if you do the opposite, it's like, how can you guarantee that you're gonna grow your following and that you're gonna make more money? Is just posting content, showing up. And then if you do that for a long enough time, you're gonna have the results that you want, right? So I would say set realistic goals when it comes to it. It'd be great to consistently post some content for a week and then have 1 million followers and $1 million. That would be great, but it's not probable. So think in terms of what's possible, what's probable. It's possible, millions of followers, very little bit of effort, millions of dollars, little bit of effort. But what's probable, let me be consistent forever. So my time frame has switched from, wanting short-term fast results. Hey man, I'm gonna do it for a month and I'm trying to get these crazy unrealistic results. It's like, no, I'm just gonna do it for 5 to 10 years. If you just turn the camera on and start documenting what you do, sharing things that you're learning with the camera, I promise you, if you zoom out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, you're gonna be way much further along than where you are today. Let's talk about how to deal with imposter syndrome. Who you are today is exactly who you needed 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 6 months ago, 5 years ago. As long as you're at least one step ahead, you can give advice to the person one step behind you. If I knew what I knew today 10, 20 years ago, I feel like I could achieve what it took me 20 years to achieve in a tenth of the time. But instead, I had that rough, rocky road. So where I am today, I'm the perfect candidate to give advice to my younger self. So every time that camera's rolling, just think about, I want to provide value, and that value could be in the form of education, where you're teaching a lesson that you learned. It could be entertainment. Entertainment could be anything that's like, it's funny, it was cool to watch, it was inspiring, it was motivating. Just cater the content to you, where you're the main star of the show. And if you were to create a TV show, cater around all of your strengths, only your strengths would it show. So I know that I'm a little bit funny, so I have some humor in my content, but I'm only a little bit funny, so I don't try to structure my content where it's a comedy show, because then the content would suck. I naturally have some inspiration, motivation, so I sprinkle that into my content where I'm very fired up, or I'm inspired, or I'm motivated, and I want to share that with my audience. And what's cool is when you see the feedback, when you post something and then you see the comments coming that was like, bro, this is what I needed today, you inspired me. And it was like, that was the point of this content. That's great. That means it worked. That means it helped. Also, one of my gifts is I have a way of teaching and explaining complex things into a simple, straightforward way. So it's like something could be really complicated that it might take me a year to learn, but once I learn it and I understand it, then I'm able to teach it to someone else. And when I teach it to the next person, I'm taking something that took me a year to learn and I could teach it to someone in like a couple hours. So that's powerful. So in my content, I include education. This video right here is like, okay, I've been learning a lot about creating content over the last 10 plus years. There's things that I've learned, lessons that I've learned, mindset things that I had to overcome. Now I'm sharing them with you to help you shortcut that time. When it comes to people selling courses and things like that, a lot of times people think that they're just buying information, but you're buying time. Time is priceless. Time is something that we can't get back. So it took me a year to learn the thing, and I could teach you it in a day. Like, I just saved you 364 days. If it took me 10 years to learn a thing, and I can teach you it in a week or 1 year, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, when they say invest in yourself, that's exactly what they're talking about. You'll never live long enough to learn everything yourself, so learn from other people. There's a lot of helpful tips, advice, different things that I want to talk about when it comes to creating content. So whatever questions that you guys have about content creation, being a content creator, let me know in the comments so that way I can make future videos talking specifically about those questions that you guys ask, okay? That's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cracka TV. We out.